Well, it's finally time for part 2 of the Truth from 17 years ago, where we finally start the flashback case in America. If you haven't seen part 1, there weren't a lot of changes, it was mostly faithful to the manga. But let's see if episode 1165 is any different. We start off the episode with an additional scene of Agasa getting into his car with Prince Rupert's drop. But in the manga, when Conan calls Agasa, is all shown from Conan's POV at the convention center. After the suspects blame Shiratori and the kids try to defend Shiratori's honor, the suspects double down, pointing to Shiratori's keychain being at the scene of the crime. This part was not in the anime and directly cuts to Conan talking about the keychain in the magazine being used by the victim to leave his dying message. Also, when Conan reveals the culprit, we see a new shot of Kuroda realizing that Conan might be the key he needs to solve a similar case from 17 years ago. Oh yeah, we also get a cool additional shot of Rumi when she confronts Hybra, when Hybra is explaining the Dutch tier and that it's actually called Prince Rupert's drop. The anime adds a scene of Rumi staring at Hybra, which I can only describe as murderous intent. The anime really outdid itself by making Rumi look so menacing and deranged. The manga was scary, but this scene sold me on it. Okay, this is a small detail, but the pen used by the killer was changed in the anime. Also, there was an additional shot when Ohiura finds the body of Saso. And there's also another additional shot when Kuroda wants to speak to Conan about the case from 17 years ago. Now we get to some of the bigger additions of this episode, which is when Rumi looks at the security camera. The camera focuses on the security camera and then shifts to Rum, who is looking at the security footage of Rumi. And this is where we get a newly added shot of Rum holding a shogi piece. We see Rum squeeze the shogi piece when he sees Rumi, and we can all guess where he got it from. In the manga, the scene just had Rum looking at Rumi with two other members of the black organization in his car. One was the driver, and the other was a mysterious person who might have been his bodyguard. The anime also cuts this down to it being just Rum and his driver. Cutting back to Conan and Kuroda, when Kuroda briefs Conan on the case, we get the iconic shot of Conan getting serious with his glasses turning white, which was not part of the manga. The next change might be bigger than we think, because when Conan starts speculating what he knows about the case, the manga shows Kuroda acknowledge that Conan is the man behind Sleeping Kogoro, which kinda shows how perceptive Kuroda is, not only realizing how smart Conan is, but also realizing that he is the man behind Sleeping Kogoro. But this scene was cut in the anime. Also, one thing that is just really good with Detective Conan is the anime retains the English dialogue from the manga, especially the dialogue spoken by Haneda, which was really nice to hear. His accent was actually pretty good. The rest of the episode mostly remains the same, with some additional shots of the present, with Korn and Shanti preparing to take their shots at Rumi. And the episode ends with a sick transition of Rumi's eye from the present to the case from 17 years ago, which by the way is not the end of the chapter. There were a lot more changes than I expected this week. Last week was just a few shuffles here and there, but this had some additions that might play a role later on. We finally are entering the case from 17 years ago, and so far this has been pretty faithful. I guess we'll have to wait next week to see what all the differences are. But in the meantime, let me know if I missed any differences, and I'll see you guys in the comments.